Oh my god, I'm facing Netflix. Oh my goodness, maybe if I beat them, they can turn my life into a series or an adaptation. Ooh, Netflix. Damn. This starting hand is a bit risky. This is nice. Okay. I've got to beat Netflix. They're using the freaking combo deck though. This guy 50% of a combo. Combos with 5 mana red enchantment. Let's hope they don't have it. Okay. Cultivate. It's got ramp. Pro black is good. Removal. Flying trample for 4 mana. That's strong. Really is. Malira is good. Can protect the rest of our team. Well, protect one thing. Just red mana out at the minute. Interesting. And a relic robber. And no attacks. Okay. It's a bit risky. But I think I'm going to cultivate. The reason I say it's risky is because next turn, if they kill the Malira, they can get in with the Relic Robber, which gives us an artifact, which deals 1 damage to us every turn. But then obviously, if that happens, it triggers the Obnixilis whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1, put a counter on Obnixilis. He's on the top card, and you can play it until end of turn. So this is super strong. Artwork is wonderful there by Zhe Chen. Okay, so they're setting up following turns. Amicable. But we are just going to exile the Ob, because it is very good. And very scary. And we'll go for the sword here. Want to get that out as soon as we can. Having Pro Black is great, because it's half their deck. Saying that, they could have some red spells that just kill us. If we get the Yellow Norn out, though, and then she gets protection from black, it's going to be really hard for the red side of their deck to kill us, because she's going to have 9 toughness, and red generally struggles above 5. They're missing land drops. Also, if they do kill the Malira, we can bring her back with the Extraction Specialist. So this is a great piece of backup tech as well. And also, to further that point, if Elish Norn is out, she's going to double the ETB. So if Sam and Malira die, they're going to deal 1 damage. Okay. That's actually fine. I'm happy to trade these. I don't want to take passive 1 each turn. I still think that was interesting timing. I would have not used that pre-combat. So what should we do first? If we go for Samwise first, and then we can equip him. So essentially, I want to set up following turns with Elish Norn and Extraction Specialist. Oh, lost a legend. I like that a lot. So if Samwise can get in here, he's got Pro Black, right? We can cast a Declaration in Stone from the graveyard once more and kill the threats we are facing on the other side. Sticky Fingers. Yeah, these swords are just absolutely wacky. Putting cards that say Protection into Strike Brawl is kind of crazy. They're attacking, and it has Menace. Okay. So will they block with the Gremlin here? Maybe. Let's see. See, now it's different. Now I want to kill Blood Artist. But if they block with this, I'm kind of happy because it's a 1 damage tribal, right? Everything we remove on their side of the field is going to be nice. So they're going to drain us for 1. Now, the good thing is they still can't cast Obnixilis next turn, so they're in a bit of trouble. And now we have the Elish Norn with the sword. And double food tokens. I'm pretty sure they're doomed here. Moving this over ensures that she cannot die. I'm pretty confident there's nothing in the deck that can now deal with this. Unless it's a board wipe. Because as I was saying, 9 damage in red. That's going to be multiple spells. It's not impossible, but it's going to be very tricky. Of course, they could just go ahead and kill the sword, which removes the protection. Ah, yes, I forgot. They make the treasure here, so they can actually go for the orb, but that would use all the resources. And a hooded blight bang with death touch. Now, we can still swing in vigilance, and they cannot block. So if you're not aware of how protection works, you can use the DET acronym, which is DEBT. Damaged, enchanted, battled, and targeted. So the colour it's protected from cannot do any of those things. Okay. Damn, these are some good cards. I'll put that in the bin now, I think. So we'll fragment reality on the Blood Artist. So that gives him a 1-drop back. But now it doesn't just drain us to death. A Ragavan, that's incredibly powerful. Let's see what they do. So they've got a few options in their turn. Looks like they're building up to something. They didn't want to go for the Obnixilis. We have a seriously good removal spell. And now we can double block the Shambling Guard. So here he is. I'm predicting a concession here. Because now they can't cast him again until they draw him again. But it's 4 down, which is ludicrous. Unless they put it to the command zone, but then he'll cost 8 mana. So the choice is theirs. 8 mana or wait. Okay, they've gone for the wait. They're going all in. Are they? No? That's a silly attack. Unless I want to draw a card. Get rid of that. No questions asked. I mean, we could have even blocked with Sam. Because we could have brought back Sam, but... So now they can block with the Ragavan. Which is Oven. And Land. Okay, let's see. The Vigilance on Elesh Norn here is just insanely good. Do they want to lose Ragavan? One of the most expensive 1-drop cards in the history of Magic. To be fair, Elesh Norn's up there as well. Elesh Norn's ridiculously expensive, but obviously she's a lot more mana to cast. Triggering the sword. Oh my goodness. I'm happy to keep these on top, to be honest. Sure. And we can just exile the Ragavan. Brutal. I'm scared that one day people are going to catch on to me using this sword. Like, nobody uses it right now. It's like secret. But this is what you have as a viewer of my channel. You have the utmost high-tech, modern tech that no one else uses. Check it out here first. Vindictive Vampire. A lot of other YouTubers, they like to copy the most powerful decks, like Paradox Engine decks, you know, like the straight-up control builds. But here, we go a bit different. Okay, so they've got 2 blockers, but not for Elesh Norn. Still hanging in there. Okay, so now we can give the rest of our team hexproof and even put counters on our team if we want to. Which is going to be so good with the 1/1s we're just randomly making with the Castle Ardenvale. Get in there with Elesh Norn. So do we want Tashar? I mean, the sword synergizes super well with Tashar because we can put whatever we want in the bin. But what's underneath? Yeah, that's nice because then next turn we draw the Tashar. No, we'll save that, I think. Or we could just return a permanent. What is actually in the graveyard that we need? No, I don't think we need to do anything. I don't think we need to be hasty here. Funny thing is, our extraction specialist can now bring back 2 things. So, Delighted Halfling is in there. So we could block with the Samwise if we really wanted to. It's unlikely. Okay, let's pump the team then. Going in for an alpha in our next turn. What are they going to have? What can they have? For what hexproof? Orcish Bowmasters. I mean, that's not going to get any ETBs. They can't. None of them can block this. All we do is pump Shall I once. Oh, we had him. We had him the whole time, I think. Complete domination, unfortunately, for them. Okay, we get to go first with actually a really good starting hand here. We can reveal this to keep up the swords, because if they want to go for the Ashnod, I'm probably just going to get rid of her. Yeah, turn 1 commander is very fast, but luckily we had the swords here. Bolt the bird, as they say, because that does give them mana if they sack creatures, which is not what we want to see. And we could just go for Samwise here, because we've got the Lost to Legend, which is absolutely incredible. I think there's a lot of cards in the Lord of the Rings set which has found their way into multiple metas. But yeah, we've got a lot of cards. What do I want to get rid of? The Welcoming Vampire. Okay, so we can't cast that next turn. Fatal Push. Sure, so we got ourselves... Could be a tough match up here. We're getting rid of all our advantage. Yeah, shame about the Welcoming Vampire. But I guess the Tribute to the World Tree is stronger because it's harder to kill. Haunt of the Dead Marshes. So there's going to be some kind of sacrifice build. Oracle of Mordia. If we get this out, we might get a few lands off the top. We did. And another land in the following turn. What's going on here? That's got Death Touch, and that is just coming in hot. This could backfire here, but if they have a way to give it Death Touch, I guess we use it up. Or maybe 1 damage. Ah, the Orcish Bowmasters. That's the 1 damage they were going for. Intriguing. So we fell for that. Which is a shame. Yeah, that is a shame. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have blocked, but it's interesting because Mono Black is... well, apparently they quit. What I was going to say is that I'm trying to justify the block there. Mono Black doesn't really use spells that just deal 1 damage. It's quite a rarity. Normally, Mono Black just Fatal Pushes, which is straight up destroy. Or just straight up kill something like Doomblade. Orcish Bowmasters is a weird pseudo... It's not really a break in Mono Black, but it's quite rare for have Mono Black to do ping damage. Ping damage is normally for red, so that's why this card is probably so expensive in paper, the $30 to $40. It's just so flexible. You know, whenever we draw an additional card, past our draw step, they get to amass and deal 1 damage. It's just a it's a 2-mana Niv Mizzet, to be honest. So this card is absurd. If you see it, kill it as soon as you can, because it bends the rules too much. It creates too much value. It's silly card. Sweet. It's a slightly slow hand. I mean, we have got the Signet. Yeah, we'll give this a go. Signet next turn. It's actually not as slow as I thought. Going first helps a lot. Thoughtseize would definitely slow us down here, or Duress, perhaps. What's it going to be? Which one do you reckon? Place your bets. Place your bets. What else could it be? Dark Ritual? Ashnod. Oh, that's strange. Seen that recently. So, okay, Signet. Next turn, maybe Shall I? Shall I gives us protection from Thoughtseize, which is kind of nice. Got their own Signet. Swing for 1, no ramp. We've got the swords as well. This is a dual type. Okay, that's good. So yeah, I'll go for Shall I here. Yeah, protection from Thoughtseize and Duress is very nice. Underrated, giving yourself hexproof. Not really common. So if they go for Ratchet Rabbit, okay, so we can play the ward here and just exile. Why are they attacking? Oh, it's got Death Touch. Okay. Or I'll tell you what we can actually do, which is even better. We can just ignore them for now. Go protection from red and green, which isn't going to be that valid, but we're going to get to play an extra land. Okay, so if we go for the Arden Vale, we have the swords up for the following turn. Sure. It's a shame we had to play a land to do this move, but it's all good. If they have removal, it's going to be a bit sad. Shieldred. Sure. Does this count? Dies. It's just dies. So I think I'm just going to exile the Shieldred here. Because that is strong. Luckily, they didn't have... They can pay 3 to give something hexproof indestructible. Okay. So we have to be aware of this, Plaza. Lost the legend. Keep swinging in. Shalai's doing some good work here. What have we got? Whoa, that's some great hits. Toski and a flowering of the white tree. Why not? Indestructible, hexproof, Ward 1 Toski. This is going to be a very, very big nuisance for our opponents here. Shalai giving our other guys hexproof. Oh, it's just it's like the only way they can get around this is something like a Languish. Or actually, to be honest, they have black, so they could make a sack or exile. There's a lot of ways they can get around. Woe Strider. Okie dokie. So yeah, having the Toski is really good. Although they now have a 1-1 blocker they can sack. But they don't have any way to stop our flying. We're going to draw an extra card with the Toski as well. Over the top. So we have to swing with Toski. That's the only downside here, but... Let's go. Let's get in there, my friends. Let's show them the power of the squirrel and the angel. Sounds like a fable, doesn't it? I think I might play Sam, because I'm missing out on the food tokens when I don't have Sam out. I really like him, actually. He's very cool. Really solid, rare. And it's not OP, which I like. I like medium cards, or mid cards, as the kids say these days. You know, back in my day, I used to say, oh, that's average. But yeah, kids now, they say mid, apparently, if you're anyone over 30 years old, like me. Okay. Actually, that reminds me of there's new Got Work, he's like 20, and he keeps saying low key. Everything is low key. And I just keep thinking of Marvel every time he says that. Sarah Paragon. Now let's just play stuff from the top. Yeah, I think we're in an insanely good position here. They're not going to be able to do much. Right, Samwise. Damn. Wrong sequencing. Missed out on a food token. So I could go for Settle. But that only gives us a basic and it's not that exciting. I'd rather keep up the Lost to Legend, I think. Put target non-land historic permanent into its owner's library 4 from the top. This is a pesky card. Really is. So good. Pelitas. Again, I'm not scared. Nothing is really... I mean, I know that Ashnod can sack stuff to get a Power Stone, and Ayara can... Yeah. Sure. Maybe I'll get rid of this, because the life drain on this could start to affect us. And now I feel sad, because I missed out on some food tokens, which I could have used. But do I want to use a Lost to Legend, actually? Because Kalitas exiles our stuff if they die, right? Yeah, I think so. They can't sack it in response, because the Ayara is tapped. But they could have something in hand, like a sack draw. Varies protection, so we can't do anything to them. Oh, that's annoying. We still have to attack, though, with the Toski. We're not going to deal damage, so we're not going to get to draw a card. But we may as well play the Warhound to get a food token. And I think we just keep the Settle the World in our hand. I suppose it was good they used it there, because that would have been a lot more annoying. later on. Your opponents can't gain life. Oh, that's annoying. Probably should have gained the 3 life in response there. Sack another creature. Target player loses 1 life. If it was legendary and mass orcs 2. Oh, jeez. Okay, this is getting hairy now. Well, they didn't like it that much, did they? Clearly. Down to 13. Risky getting rid of that, though, because that's stopping us using our foods, and now it's taking a life off it, you could say. -1. Pro-red, pro-green, ward 1. They're going to draw a card. Lose 2. Oh, they're doing the job for us. And they're still not swinging. We've got 11 flying coming in over the top. And we're just making 2/2s for fun here. Esper Sentinel, that's decent. Right, let's go over the top. So we have to swing 1, 2, 3. See, we could even swing with Sam. To be honest, yeah, why not? Let's just alpha. I mean, our stuff gets exiled from Kalatas, but whatever. They have to block. That's a very greedy block because that means that... Okay. That's interesting. Is that all they want to do? Wow. We could literally just put counters on all of our creatures here. Would that actually win? How much damage are we doing? That's an extra 3 damage, right? So we're already dealing... that's 18. They gain 3 from Kalatas. So they're at 1? Oh my goodness. Okay, they're at 1 life here. We get to draw a lot of cards and do a lot of things. I'm intrigued that... Okay, so they're going to get another Drain and Kalatas. Okay. We're down to 11. This is a bit scary, actually. We can't gain life either. To Shah. Day of Judgment. Maybe we just blow up the world. So we can start gaining life. Should I do that? I think we do that, otherwise we're just going to die to combat damage. And they lose Kalatas, and they also lose the Grima Wormtongue as well. Yeah, I'm worried of their field. Like, yes, we lose our field. But they lose almost everything. They'll gain a clone of a Yara when she dies. Unless they do some weird sack thing. You know what? We could even give our thing indestructible. Because now that we can gain life. That's got pro green. What do I want to save? Let's save the Serra Paragon. That's going to be interesting, because now we can just recast stuff from our graveyard. Yeah, I think they're just doomed now. The board wipe was weirdly lucky for us. Even though we lose 60% of our field. Okay, so we keep the Toski, and now we keep the Serra Paragon. We lose the Shalai, sadly, because it got pro green, but... Sweet. I'd say that's a pretty worthy trade. 12. Can they deal 12 damage in 1 turn? Who knows? And because of the way they got rid of Kalatas, we actually kept our creature in the graveyard, which is good. Boromir stops us casting spells for free, and sack it to give their team indestructible. Okay, but we still have a flyer, which means they're going to have to block. Oh, Polukranos. Right, let's give the sword to... Wait, so they're definitely going to block the Paragon anyway. Otherwise they die, right? Although... Yeah, so give it to Toski. I don't know if that's the right thing to give it to, but... swing in. So they're going to lose the Redain 100% here. They've got no cards in hand, so in a really good situation. Maybe equipping that was pointless. I guess it was. Well, they have to block here. Okay. Oh, yes. So, okay, so they're going to trade Boromir for the Redain. Okay, fair enough. I mean, the joke is we don't actually have any spells that cost 4 or more that are non-creatures, so what should we do? I want to gain some life, I think. We can get something back from the graveyard. And go for Sam, which means we get the Loyal Warhound back. And we can go for the Sentinel as well, which is historic. But we can't bring back anything else because Tashar cannot bring back the Shalai, sadly. Mirror of Galadriel. I was really scared that they were going to play Farewell there. Like always. But I'm pretty sure they're going to die now because they don't have enough blockers. But they tried till the end, which is the main thing. You never know. Your outs could be anything. Board wipe. Farewell would have absolutely annihilated me. And then at that point, I would have to just regrow the field back with something like Castle Ardenvale, the Pelucranos. Sweet game. Nice showcase of the power of white-green there. Today's video is dedicated to Jonoroth, who is one of my generous members. So thank you very much, Jonoroth, for suggesting a food travel deck. And Samwise Gamgee is the result of that. This is an interesting deck. It wants you to create a deck with lots of historic cards in it. So I've gone for the historic creatures route. And it wants you to create food tokens. So it's not necessarily just an all-in food strategy. I think the food in this build is going to be more of a support network for the rest of the cards. Because although food is good, it's fun, just having food tribal is kind of rough because the support isn't 100% there. It's getting closer with each addition of food in each set, but we're going to use it to sacrifice 3 foods to get a historic card from our graveyard back to our hand. There's no real mill strategy in these colours, so we just have to wait for them to die, but return them to your hand is really stupidly powerful if you think about how many historic cards are just incredible. So remember, historic is legendary creatures, artifacts, and sagas. So the deck has a few ways to double the amount of food tokens you can get, but these also double up as just stupidly powerful cards anyway. Elish Norn doubles triggers of ETBs you have and stops your opponent's ETBs. Gandalf the White does the same for legendary things you have and artifacts. And we have Mondrak as well, which does the same, and you can make him indestructible by sacking 2 artifacts or creatures, which is kind of funny flavor, sacking 2 foods to make him indestructible. The deck has, obviously, the One Ring, because it's probably the best card that they've maybe ever made, which kind of flavorful, but it's just strong. It kind of goes in most decks, but for the sake of these Lord of the Rings decks I'm doing, I'm just going to put them in anyway, because the One Ring it's flavorful at least, but we'll see. Maybe I'll try and mix up in future decks, maybe not include the One Ring, but it's just so strong. Maybe bannable, who knows, if it's just seeing too much play. You do lose life for it, but in a life gain deck like ours, which has food, you can just get around that life loss. It's not too bad. Got Radagast, which is a bit more flavor, just in the Tolkien lore, gives you more creatures when other creatures come in. We have a nice little lock, not really lock, but it protects your whole army. So Sigarda gives other permanents and you hexproof, and you can play angels and humans at the top. Not too bothered about that, but I love combining Sigarda with Shalai, which gives your other things hexproof. So if you have Shalai and Sigarda out, they can't target any of your things, which is just really quite funny, to be honest. Some other synergy, we have Rosie Cotton whenever she comes in, create a food, and whenever you create a token, put a counter on a creature other than Rosie, which can stack up pretty well. It's not a +1/+1 counter deck, but you know, putting a counter here and there can make a bit of a difference. We've got 2 swords, because if you've seen my videos long enough, you'll know that I just like including these for decks where the commander is a bit low power, just to amp the power up a bit, just to, you know, give a bit more damage output, because 2 damage a turn, you're probably not going to be swinging with Sam too much, because he's kind of weak by himself. Tireless Provision, I would say, definitely put in the deck as well. Whenever you play a land, you get a food or treasure. which is just absurdly good. And the rest of the deck is mostly just a white-green support package. The only other significant card I would say that I want to try is the Flowering of the White Tree. Gives legends +2/+1 ward 1, which is really good, and non-legendary creatures you can try get +1/+1. So it's just a straight up Anthem for 2 mana, which is very strong and a power creep. So yeah, I think you'll probably enjoy this deck if you like something a bit different. White-green isn't represented that much in the meta unless it's enchantment builds like Sithis or Calyx. So seeing a white-green mid-rangey pseudo-control deck is always fun to try and navigate around and find a space for it, because it's weird. It's not mega aggressive. It's definitely not mega aggressive, but it is good in the late game and the middle game. So you'll have fun playing this if you like to jump through hoops, which is part of my channel's speciality. I do like to create different decks that no one else kind of makes and use a bit more flavor. And if you appreciate that, and if you like the flavor builds that I've gone for so far, check out my other videos. But also, to support the channel, you can donate to me via Ko-fi. You can donate via Patreon, which I'm now on, which is pretty cool to be on. And you can also become a channel member on YouTube itself. So you've got multiple ways to donate to the channel and show your support for me. And it just really helps me out. So I hope you enjoyed today's videos. Until next time. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.